Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday and welcome to Love Talks. I'm your host, Ina Love. Today, on this Love Talk segment, we will be beginning a new series. And the topic for today is Let There Be Peace. I think it's truly time for peace. So, I'm going to share a lot of insight and information about finding peace within yourself. Before I begin this segment, I want to actually take a moment for just a bit of a side note. But first, I want to begin by saying if you are new to Love Talks, I've been doing these weekly talk segments for the past 6 months. And you can find all of them here on my Facebook page, also on my YouTube channel at Ina Love Poetry, or my website, somethingaboutlove.foundation.org. As I said, I want to just kind of give a little side note before I dive into the topic, because as I was writing the segment for today, I realized that this particular segment seems to have taken a little bit of a turn or a twist, if you will. It's a little bit different from my previous Love Talk segments. And if you actually watch Love Talks regularly, you may see what I mean by that. However, I wanted to share a little bit about why I started these Love Talks and the reason why I feel this segment has taken a little bit of a different format, or perhaps a different type of content to some degree. So 6 months ago, when I began Love Talks, there was a lot going on in our world. And obviously, there still is. But at that time, this was this past July, I just remembered feeling so much pressure. Like there just felt like there was just so much pressure, so much going on, so much happening in our world. We were dealing obviously with the pandemic, which was, growing progressively worse. We were dealing with the racial tension and the racial divide, and a lot of ugly truth was bubbling to the surface, and just so much fear and uncertainty, just a lot going on. And I could literally feel the pressure. And I just thought to myself, I feel the need to do something. It was like this overwhelming need to do something. And I just decided that I would start to share a weekly message as a way to just shine some light on the situation, share some insight, a message of hope, and just something we could all hold on to. And I was sharing this as much for you all as I was doing this also for myself, and as a reminder to myself. So I have noticed, I would say within the past 2 or 3 months, that I'm feeling a shift happening. And it truly seems, in my opinion, from my perspective, as I sit back and I observe. I'm always observing, and I've just noticed that there has been a shift to where it seems that things are starting to move in a positive direction within our world. Now, as I said, there's obviously still a lot to heal. We're all still going through a lot. There's still a lot of uncertainty, but we have seen some rays of light. And I just kind of wanted to bring that to your attention because, again, as I said, this love talk I feel is a little different. So, and within this past week, it seems as if like that pressure pot that I was talking about, where all of these things that were happening, it seems as if the lid on that pot has been cracked open just a little. And I noticed that for me personally, it just sort of feels like a breath of fresh air, like we can just breathe a little deeper. And perhaps some of you will agree with that, and some may not. But again, from my perspective and the way I see things, I truly feel in my heart that things are moving in a right direction. So, the topic today being let there be peace, I think in the midst of everything that's happening in the world, and like I said, there's still so much to heal, truly a lot to heal in the world. But peace is what we need, not only in our own lives, peace of mind, peace of within our heart. Peace is something we all truly need and want, also within our world. So, again, I just thought this would be a great topic to start with in light of, this new breath of light that has come in. So I hope that makes sense for you to some degree. But I just wanted to share that was kind of the essence of what brought about this particular love talk. So that's kind of where I'm going with this segment. It truly is time for a change in our world. As I said, there's so much going on and so much that has been going on, so many dark things that have been happening in our world for a very long time. But we really need to start to think in terms of healing our world, putting our energy, our effort, our attention on bringing forth a change in the world. Because, we talked about this many times on Love Talks that we are conscious creators. We are all co creating with God, with the source of all that is. Our words are truly living words and carry a vibration that manifest in our world. So we all need to just begin to think on the line of healing our world, bringing forth peace, and allowing that to unfold. Peace is truly what we all want. I truly believe in my heart that peace is something that we all want, and we need that. We all want to live in a peaceful world. We want that for ourselves, for our children, and we actually need that. So, again, we have to start to just give that some focus, time, and attention and start to work in that direction. Um, if you are a person who truly walks this walk, when I mean walk this walk, I mean going through life. If you are truly walking through this life with God, beautiful. Stay close to God. We truly, I think now more than ever, and I can say this for myself personally, I I believe that I've always loved God, always had God in my heart. I've always believed in love, but it's like now more than ever, I see that we truly need God. We truly need God more than ever. So if you are walking this walk with God, continue to do that. Continue to grow your relationship and get stronger. Build that strong bond, that close relationship, because that is truly how we get through anything that we go through in life is with God. If you have not been walking so closely with God, I would say that now is the time to really get to know God, to build that bond, to grow that relationship. And I've said that many times on the in these love talk segments. I always say stay close to God. So again, if you are beautiful, continue that close bond and relationship. And if not, really take the time to discover, to research, search your heart, truly search your heart, and talk to God, spend time with God, say your prayers, just get still and listen. Now truly is the time. And I always refer to God as Him, but I just always like to clarify that I don't think of God as a man in the sky. Again, God is a consciousness, it's a presence, it's an energy, truly the energy of love that is ever, ever present, never in absence. God is always present. And if we truly know and understand that, we have to live our lives knowing, truly as if God's eyes are watching us, because It is absolutely true. That consciousness is everywhere and ever present. God created everything, and therefore God is in everything. So God is all knowing. God is, um, again, this consciousness um, that is always there. So, um, and also, God is your greatest ally and the source of all that is. You know, God is everything from which all things come through God. And we know these things, but again, I'm just moving to just really solidify this need for peace and to bring that concept into our hearts and into our lives. Because no matter what is happening in our world, truly, no matter, and there is again a lot going on, but no matter what is happening in our world, no matter what battles or struggles we face within our own lives, God is what we truly need to get through it. We have to truly let God in our hearts, because with absolute faith, we can get through anything. You know, God is our rock, that truth on which we stand, um, that just reassures us. Again, no matter what is going on, if you truly have God in your heart, you just know that everything is going to be okay. And the absolute truth is that God is in control. Again, God is the creator. God's hand is in everything. So, in walking this path with Him, with God, we just know in our hearts that, we will get through it, and we will. We always have. And God has always made a way. So, by staying close to God, you know that, you know, this too shall pass, as they say. Um, so when I say, do you know God? That means, do you truly know God? Beyond believing, do you know God? Do you trust Him? Do you believe in Him? Have you truly let God in your heart? And the way to know that is because, again, no matter what is going on, if you have that solid foundation, that bond with God, then you just know that that is where you find your sense of peace, is that peace of God in your heart. So if you are, let's say, someone who's really experiencing a lot of fear in this situation, do some work to get closer to God, to let God in your heart, and God will bring you that sense of peace that you need. You know, God is our rock and our strength, and uh, what we need to, again, to get through, to get by. So just to be aware of that, through any battle, through any storm, through anything, God will see us through and always has. Um, and as they say, everything has a season, and we are in this season at this time, and none of us knows why. God has a master plan, but we trust in His plan, and we know, again, that we will get through it. So the key is to truly stay close to God, to allow God in your heart, and allow that peace to just, like, basically take over. Just, allow that peace to just come over you, and really stand in that peace. And whenever something comes along that tries to shake us or move us away from that peace, we have to remind ourselves that God is with us, that God's hand is in everything, and that we will get through it. So if you watch Love Talks on a regular basis, I'm sure you know that I'm a poet. I share poetry on, I think I've shared poetry in just about every Love Talk segment that I've done. Today, as I was writing this particular Love Talk, a poem that I it was actually my very first favorite poem, and I think I was maybe 10 years old when I found this particular poem. But as I was writing this series today, this poem came to mind, and I thought it's such a beautiful, like a really perfect message to share for this particular segment. So I want to share this poem. It's by Annie Johnson Flint, um, and the poem is titled "God Hath Not Promised." But again, I think it's just a beautiful message for this message of peace. God hath not promised skies always blue, flower strewn pathways all our lives through. God hath not promised sun without rain, joy without sorrow, peace without pain. But God hath promised strength for the day, rest for the labored, light for the way, grace for the trials, help from above, unfailing sympathy, undying love. I have literally loved that poem since the day I first read it. And as I said, I think I was about 10 years old when I first discovered that poem. And, I hadn't lived enough to fully perhaps grasp all of that, but I understood the essence of it. And I just remembered when I read that last line about, God promising his unfailing sympathy and undying love, like those words just went into my heart because I've always loved God. I've always believed in love. And I carried that poem with me for many, many years. But as it came up for this particular segment, the line about God hath not promised peace without pain. And what that says to me is that, we all go through things in life. I have yet to meet one adult person who has not been through anything, who has not experienced pain or some challenge or difficulty in life. It's part of the life experience. And it's part of, I believe, the way that we grow and we learn through these experiences. Well, we've all been through painful experiences, the loss of a loved one, broken heart, disappointments, many, many things that we experience in life. But in the midst of all that, of anything that you go through, if you truly know God in your heart, that is your peace. So God is that sense of peace in every storm, in every battle, in every experience. So again, it's so important that we truly, truly get to know God, truly let him in our hearts. So I think I'm making very clear that that's the point that I'm driving here today is that, we're going to get through this with God. So, and the peace of God is just, it's something that just, it truly does surpass all understanding because it just is. We don't really have to understand it. We just know that God is. And with God, that is the faith, that is the belief, that is the knowing, that is the very thing that pulls us through whatever challenges we face. So in truly, loving the Lord, come what may, whatever life brings your way, that you can overcome it, just as we always have and we always will. And this particular experience at this time is no different. Like I said, this season, this too shall pass. So we just have to stay faithful and be patient, and one day at a time. Let's see. Okay, actually, no, I'm not going to even share that. Okay. So we just keep going. We just keep going day by day. We just keep pushing. We just keep going forward. We keep believing. And until we get there, I don't know where we're going. I just know that we're going to get there. I don't know what battles we have to face. I don't know what obstacles will come. I just know that God will see us through. So again, we just keep going. day after day after day with absolute faith, with absolute trust in God, in our, with God in our heart. So there is no greater love than the love of God. There is no greater peace than the peace of God, no greater comfort. So I truly don't know of any other source. You know, I have no idea how people who don't believe, like, how do you make it in this life without, having faith, whatever that is, whatever you believe in, whether it's God, whether it's, there's 1,000 different names for God, but we have to have something to believe in, something to hold on to. And of course, I reference God, but again, that is our foothold. That is our foundation. God is the platform on which we stand through every experience. So, and we just have to stay, be steady on the course, keep God close until we get there, wherever we're going. So just keep believing in God, hold God in your heart. Again, that is your peace. And one day at a time. So there's a lot in our world that needs to be healed. That's obvious. We just, look out at the big picture of everything that's happening, and we see that there's so much to heal in our world. And I believe that we will truly heal our world when we all turn to God, because it's clear to me that if we truly believed in God, a lot of the things that are happening in our world would not be happening. If we were truly living for God, our world would look completely different. So, healing our world truly means all of us truly waking up to the presence, to God's presence, and living our lives for Him in honor of God, in the manner in which the way God would want us to live our lives. And, we can and we will have peace. We truly can have peace in our world. And I know this to be true because with God, all things are possible, but we have to choose it. You know, you can, if we all just tomorrow, if everyone woke up tomorrow and said, I choose peace, we could absolutely change our world. And it's our own individual responsibility. None of us has control of another person. We make the choice to just show up each and every day as a peaceful, loving person. We do our part, and we individually and collectively make a difference in the world. So, as the saying goes, peace begins with you, peace begins with me. And all that we can do is our part. So, we have to make that choice to wake up each and every day and accept peace as our way of being, allow peace to enter our heart, and choose to be a peaceful person on the planet. And that means having peace within, making peace with your loved ones, with your friends, with your family, being a peaceful person. It's a choice, just like anything else, but we have to choose it. And every day we choose it again, to move through this life in a peaceful way, because there's always, always a peaceful solution and a peaceful resolution to everything. But again, we have to choose it. So, again, just do your part, live for God, show up as a peaceful person, and everything truly matters. Every little bit matters. Even with the people that we encounter from day to day, not just the people that we know personally, but in every encounter, in every experience, we show up as a peaceful person. And that is how we bring forth peace in our world. And we have to magnify that. I see it like a wave. As we all enter this wave of peace, that it will just engulf the world. And in loving God, we truly enter that wave. and bring forth that peace again that we all truly want. I really believe in my heart that every person on this planet would prefer to live a life of peace. I mean, who wants all of this chaos? I just can't imagine that people truly want that. I mean, although obviously some people choose it, but your choice is between you and God. Then that's true of all of us. Whatever choices we make, those choices are between us and God. And we just make the right choice each day. Wake up each and every day and say, I choose peace today. I choose to be a peaceful person in every encounter, in every experience. I'm going to show up in a peaceful, loving way because that is what God expects of us and wants from us. So, again, in living for God, that is the choices we make. So, um, as I said, not everyone on the planet is choosing peace. You know, there are people who truly have love, excuse me, there are people who truly have hate in their heart. And hate is not of God. You know, clearly, not everything is of God. Anything that is dark is not of God. So if you have hate in your heart, you're not truly living for God. Um, and I can't, let me see. Okay. Um, but anyways, the point again that I'm making here is that living for God is where we find peace. So, and we just have to remember that each and every day because, you know, God truly is the way, and we all need God in our lives. We need God in our hearts, and we need to live for Him every day, each and every day. So peace will actually come to our world when we all accept God. You know, and it may seem very simple, and truly it is, but clearly we're not doing that. So again, we have to make that choice and honor it. And some days we might fall short. You know, we all have our days. We all go through things, but there's a difference between, you know, choosing to do things that are not of God versus, you know, having a moment of lapse where, you know, maybe you just had an off day and you said or did something that you regret. You know, that we are human, and those things you say, God forgive me, and you know, you keep going and you do better. But there are people who actually make choices and conscious decisions and are who choose to serve darkness. Well, you know, there is a law of life. And that law of life says what you put out comes back to you. And it's the thing that is known as karma. And I think some people think they can erase their karma by chanting or praying or asking for forgiveness or in many ways. But you know, God is forgiving, but it doesn't work that way. We all have our debts to pay in life, and whether we pay them in this lifetime or the next, we all have to settle our debts. We are all accountable for the choices that we make in life. So I'm really sharing this so that we are all aware that we need to be conscious of the choices that we are making because we are truly held accountable for those things. Again, God is that consciousness, that presence that is all knowing and ever present. So if you are living your life for God, that is beautiful. If you are not, then, you know, make a choice to change your ways. We all have the ability to choose differently, to choose higher, to choose wiser. Live for God, and let's create a peaceful world, a better world, because it really is time. It is time. You know, all of the negativity and the hatred and all of these things that have been swirling in our world. I mean, look at what it's done to our world. We have to find a better way, and that is a peaceful way by simply choosing peace and living a life of peace. And we will start to see our world heal It's going to take time. Clearly, there's so much to heal, um, but we just start by doing our part. So I believe that love and hate cannot truly coexist. I mean, we obviously see that happening in our world and we see what is happening in our world. But within yourself, you are either a person of love or not of love. You're either a person of peace or not of peace, because I think love and peace truly have no opposite. If you want to be a peaceful, loving person, then be that. Truly strive to be that each and every day, with every word you speak, with every thought you think, in all of your actions, because, you know, it truly surpasses words. To say I love you to someone, those are words, beautiful words, but you have to show that in action. So through your action, be a person of love, be a person of peace, truly show up and live for God each and every day. And that is what God intends for us. That is what God wants from us. And we really need to, again, start thinking along those terms and along those lines and living our lives in that manner. So basically, the problem in the world today is that there are a lot of non-believers, a lot of people who truly say they love God, but they are not living for God. So we need to be aware of this. We need to just change our ways. It's a choice like anything else in life. You can choose to show up as a person, uh, that a person living your life in the manner in which God wants. So it's really that simple. And if we all did this, if we all truly live for God, we're going to see the changes happening in our world that we want to see. So, God is good. God is love. God is light. And to be a godly person, to be God-like, you have to be all of those things. Be like God, be like Christ. Jesus came to teach us all of these things. God sent Jesus as a healer, as a redeemer, as a teacher, and he is the Prince of Peace. So we need to remember that. We need to live our lives in a manner which is pleasing to God. So again, just all reminders, because I know that we know these things, but we have to choose it. We have to do it. We have to be it. So, let's see what else. So I think that in these past 6 months that I've been sharing this information on Love Talks, for me, it just kind of feels like everything is coming full circle, because love truly is the way when we choose it. When we choose it, all of these things are available, just like any other choices that we make in life, but nothing changes until we, choose it and actively incorporate that or participate in it, make that our way of being. Because the bottom line is we are all here for God. We are truly here for God, and we have to start to live in a manner that is pleasing to him. So I'm just opening this door. These are things that we know, these are things that we understand, but we need to start to see this, because there's two things that we can all do to make a difference in our world. One, we can make a choice to be a peaceful, loving presence on the planet. And two, we can hold that vision for the whole world. Just imagine a peaceful world. Imagine what that would look like, what that would feel like. It would be so beautiful to have a peaceful existence, but we need to put some thought and energy and effort and attention into that. And again, just by doing your part. None of us can change the whole world, but we can each individually, which becomes the collective, we can each do our part. And that's really all that I'm I'm presenting here today is that, we just each do our part in living for God, inviting peace into our lives and being a peaceful person, being that peaceful presence. Because I truly do believe that we can change and heal our world, because with God, all things are possible. Absolutely all things. So we just have to start to work in that direction. And truly, if we can see it in our minds, then we will see it in our world, because again, we are creators. We're co-creating with God. God is holding that vision for us, wants that for us. We have to align with it. And we do that by doing our part. And when you become that peaceful person, you're going to see peace. Last week I talked about, how we all have our own little world. Like we are all in our own little bubble, our lives. But then within that, we are all part of the collective, part of the whole. So as we each create our own peaceful world, all of that ripples and magnifies and amplifies and becomes part of the collective, part of the whole. So truly, it really is just about all of us doing our own part and allowing that peace in our heart and living there. Even when we go through the challenges and the struggles, we can still have the peace of God in our hearts. And that is how we want to live our lives, just at peace, to be at peace. And it's a beautiful thing. Believe me, it certainly outweighs the opposite, which is, living in fear, living stressed out and frustrated, and so many things. We can just truly be at peace by truly trusting and believing in God wholeheartedly. And that is truly available to every one of us, to just choose to let God in our hearts and be still and be at peace. Because as I said, there is always a peaceful solution, always a peaceful resolution to any situation. I don't care how big or small. Choose to find the peaceful way, even if it's a complicated situation, even if it's something that angers you and frustrates you, and something that you've been battling with or trying to deal with or find a solution for a long time. Try to find a peaceful solution. Anyone that you're going through any challenges with, show up as a peaceful person in that experience, and you will see that you're going to have a different outcome, because again, what you put in is what you get out. So if you approach the situation with peace, you're going to find peace. So just try it, test it for yourself. And you can't fool energy. You can't show up saying all the peaceful words if you're still harboring anger or frustration or hatred, or all of those dark energies in your heart. Truly approach a situation, whatever it is that you're going through, approach it with peace, approach it with love, and watch and see that you will have a different outcome. Let's see. And as I said, clearly, not all things in this world are of God. I believe that we have been in a battle of good versus evil for a very long time. But I truly, in my heart, I really feel and believe that the light light always wins, but I truly see that light is coming in, that things are happening and changing and moving in a more positive direction, that we are really going to see some positive changes in our world. I truly believe that with all my heart. So just continue to stay faithful, continue to do your part, continue to believe, be that peaceful presence, wait on the Lord, and one day at a time, until we get there, and we will. But it really is time for peace. It is. And it's just time that we, again, start to think in those terms, to start to show up in that manner, start to allow peace as our way of being and into our lives and into our hearts. And you're going to find that things in life are going to be so much, I would say, easier to deal with, because when you just lean on God and you have that truth to stand on, you can get through anything. We have to stop like stressing ourselves out, because it's really causing illness in our body. Stress is so toxic to our physical being. So peace is truly vital and important. And I thought it was just really so important that we just, spend some time just talking about peace, because not only do we want it, we truly need it. So accept it in your life, allow it into your life, allow it to be your way of being, and then see what happens. Just try it truly, genuinely, and authentically from your heart. So when we do our part, God is going to assist us. And that is, just a truth that we all have to stand on, that God is for us and with us. And the closer we get to God, the more that we live our lives for God in honor to God, then God, you will find that you will be assisted in ways that you never thought possible. So truly just, like I said, if you're not doing it, start to live your life for God. Start to live your life in a way that is pleasing to Him, and you will find God assisting you at every turn, in every battle, and you're going to move through those challenges so much easier and quicker. So find your peace in God and stay there. Just, be aware if something is pulling you out of that peace, then, you get on your knees if you have to, and you call God into your life, and just hold on, because that is our strength. That is the power that pulls us through every experience. So we need to get to a place where peace and love prevail in our world. And it's just a matter of time. I truly believe with all my heart that it's going to happen, that we will see a peaceful world. I believe that, and I'm speaking it because I truly do believe that. So again, don't worry about what other people are choosing. All that we can do is show up and do our best and be our best. And that is what God expects. So, and as I said, we're all held accountable. God is all knowing. So it truly is in your best interest to show up each and every day being the best that you can be. None of us are perfect. I'm never ever trying to sit here and say that I'm perfect, that, I figured everything out. I have my days, I fall short, I get frustrated, all of those things. But when I tell you each and every day of my life, I wake up praising God throughout the day before I close my eyes each night. I'm thankful. I'm so thankful for my life, for God's presence in my life, for the truth and the understanding, and for having this close walk with God. Believe me, if you truly, truly love God above all others, above all else, you will find that peace that you truly need and want, and you will see things start to happen in your life. So, again, if you're not doing it, just, start to work in that direction. Put some energy and momentum into living for God, truly living for God, from your heart. So, Um, and as I said, it is the law of life. Whatever you put out comes back to you. So if you are putting out good, if you are sending out love and peace and kindness, and those things must come back to you. So it is truly for not only living for God, but also in your own best interest to be the person that God intends all of us to be, to live your life for God. So it's our own individual choice how we choose to show up and live. how we choose to live our lives. But as I said, no one is perfect. Truly, no one is perfect. But we all know right from wrong. We truly do. And we just have to choose to do right, to walk the path of God, live for God, love the Lord, and see what happens. But I can tell you firsthand that having God in my life and living my life for God brings me so much joy. Like, truly, no matter what is going on in the world, no matter what challenges and obstacles and struggles and battles, as I said, we've all been through those things. But truly loving God brings me a sense of joy and a sense of peace no matter what I go through. And believe me, I've been through things. We've all been through things. I'm no exception. And I think for everything that every struggle that I've faced in my life has truly brought me closer to God. And I think what we're experiencing now in the world is an opportunity to really, push us to God, to get to know Him. Because again, that's how we're going to get through this, by having that true faith and trust and belief in God and living for Him. And God is going to help us, is assisting us. Like I said, I see the light shining. I've seen many rays of light, particularly in the past few months. So I feel a change happening. And that is what I believe. And I'm going to stand there and keep believing that, because I truly, with all my heart and soul, I want to live in a peaceful world. I want that for myself. I want that for everyone on this planet. And I know that it is possible, but we have to choose it. So just let's just be it. Let's be peaceful, loving beings. So I do have a poem that I'm going to share for today. It's actually a poem that I wrote about 5 years ago. I had a dream and I actually saw a peaceful world. I literally saw it. And even as I'm talking about it, I see this in my mind. And I wrote a poem basically describing this dream. But I say that I saw the peaceful world. So I'm going to share this poem. It's titled Water's Dream. Within my mind, there lives a place foreign to the eye, a place that you can drift to if you close your eyes and try, where waves of laughter and winding streams of love link heart to heart, and each new day brings blessed little ripples from the start. All things work together, a sea of harmony, where every need and want is purely washed all over thee. There's sunshine, flowers, rolling hills of green, and water streams, and everywhere you drift, love fills every little thing. Within this wave of peace and beauty made for you and me, all is pure and flows as it were surely meant to be. I'm thrilled each time I close my eyes and drift into this space. I speak the word, I let it be. I manifest this place. Turn within and drift now to this peaceful place I know. You're invited and you're welcome to this place where pure love grows. And when you get there, find me waiting beside the water stream with arms outstretched in love's embrace. We wake and live the dream. So I love that poem because it always takes me back. I said that I saw um, what I would describe as heaven on earth. And that is what God intended for us, to live heaven on earth. And I will continue to believe in that dream. I will continue to believe that we can live a peaceful existence, because that is what I want. That is what I choose. That's what I want all of us to want and believe. All we have to do is just believe, because with God, again, all things truly are possible. So, our book drawing for this week. Uh, oh, I think I forgot to write the name down. Well, I guess I'll have to announce it next week, but I'll reach out to the person who won. Um, but, anyways, that is our love talk today on peace. And I hope I shared something that was insightful, something that just, like I said, to give us just that foundation of peace to stand on, to get through these days, to get through the coming days, because, we've clearly all seen that none of us know what's happening. None of us know the answer or the solution. But I do know that with God, we're going to get through this and we can peacefully get through this. And I'm truly hoping with all my heart that something good is going to come of all of this. Clearly, not every person is going to make it through this experience, but God has the plan and we have to trust that. So just again, stay close to God, keep believing, do your part, and we're going to take it one day at a time. So I wish you a beautiful, peaceful, safe, healthy, happy week ahead. And I'll be back next week with another love talk. I don't have a topic yet, but of course, I'll be sure to let you know. But I appreciate your time. I appreciate you tuning into Love Talks. And again, I hope that I've shared something that's been beneficial. But until next week, blessings.